Welcome back to the Fear
and Beer podcast,
where we discuss all things Halloween Horror Nights, horror movies,
and just a little bit of beer.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Shamus.
Like scary movies.
Uh-huh.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Did you miss me?
Aren't you drinking? I never drink. Why?
Before we get into tonight's episode, we want to remind all of those listening on Apple Podcasts to drop us a 5-star review. It helps us grow as a podcast and build our audience. If you're listening on Spotify or any other platform, follow us, and don't forget to share with friends and family who might have a little bit of the strange in them as well.
And while you're on those socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, be sure to find us, Fear and Beer Pod. Give us a like, share, and you can always message us. We love to interact with all you guys. Finally, back. We had a couple of vacations, which...
See, it feels like it's been a while since I've been here.
And we haven't set this up. I remember we had, I think, 2 episodes that were non-videoed.
Recorded remotely.
Because what we did with the RAP tour guys, we
Yep.
did our anniversary episode, which I guess we should start there. That was our last episode, and somehow that has already become our number 1 episode, our highest listened episode, and we've been doing this for 2 years.
We hit 400 listens, I think, late last week.
In like a week and a half.
No, maybe not. Maybe sometime earlier this week. But either way, we hit 400 listens. We've blown away the next highest one by like 50. So
No, it's huge for us. So
all y'all fans of the other 2 podcasts, hope you stuck around and continue to listen to us as well, and welcome you to it.
there's plenty to go around. Plenty of Horror Nights stuff to go around.
Plenty to talk. But you hear everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Even we all drawn on about the same things, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so thank you very much for everyone who listened to that. That was a huge success. And we took a little vacay. We actually both ended up going to vacation at the same time and didn't really know it. It was kind of last minute for my end.
Yeah, we ended up. Well, I was in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
From last Wednesday until Wednesday the 1st to Wednesday the 8th. Little bit of a
Extension.
sidetrack extension,
A little
hijinks,
extension there.
on our end, considering we had to drive home from Wednesday night into Thursday. So that was fun. But other than that, it was a pretty good week.
Yeah, I did a quick little Friday to Monday turnaround, and we figured, there's no point in stressing about this stuff. We're like, oh, what's the worst that happens? An announcement comes, and an announcement came, but that should be expected during this part of the season, because I think here going forward, we'll start to get them more steadily. We've got 2 out of proposed 10 houses announced already, so I'm expecting late June or so maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, another house. But I guess today we should just start by talking about what you can see in front of you, which, that's Halloween. We got all the pumpkins out. We have Halloween playing. We have our little boys right up front. So that's what we're going to be talking about the Halloween announcement, how it announced, what there is in comparison from the HHN 24 house. And we're just going to dive into that quickly, and then we'll be back on our regularly scheduled program here on out for hopefully the foreseeable future. And then we got some cool stuff planned up ahead of that we can talk about at the end of the episode. But I guess before we get started to talk about Halloween, we should get to the beer aspect of Fear and Beer, and we're sharing one today. This one seemed pretty fitting. You said, what is it, Elysian?
It's Elysian Ale.
Elysian
so
Ale.
if you are familiar with Space Dust, which is their biggest one, it's an IPA. I like it, not bad. It's a pretty widely distributed. I think Elysian distributes pretty much everywhere. So it's not like, I don't think if you listen to us in Wyoming or somewhere from the far reaches of the United States, I think you can find it. Now, for our poor international listeners, I don't know if you guys can find Elysian anywhere, but you might, I don't know.
Dark.
But yeah, so this is different. It's a coffee ale. I know that they've made these in the past, not specifically Elysian, but I've seen these before. But it's a pumpkin spiced ale, so it's basically a basic bitch beer, which is what we are.
It's darker than what I was expecting, though. I was thinking ale. I was like, okay, and it's
pretty.
But it
pretty
does
good.
have that
It's a little bit
coffee
left in the
aspect
bottle.
to it, so that makes sense.
And I like we said before, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but I do tend to enjoy
Top off.
coffee
Even.
in beer. So it's different for me. Look at that. We almost
It's
a full
almost
pint
got
for each of us.
Pretty much full beers. Right on. Way to package.
I like how the bottle art is similar
It's
to
pretty
Space
cool.
Dust.
I'm gonna go
Instead of
show it off.
Instead of I think it's a moon on the Space Dust one, spitting up space dust. It's a pumpkin spitting up, I would assume, pumpkin vapors.
I don't know if it's like
Or sucking in vapors or whatever. But yeah, so Elysian's pretty good. Don't really know a whole lot about them, so I probably should look that up and give you guys some actual information about what this beer looks like. It's just
If you're watching at home, you're not going crazy. I did just adjust the lights because it looked like the camera was going in and out of focus of us too much because a little bit harder to pick us up in the dark. It looks better with the lights, but I'll adjust that in post.
So it's funny that I don't know if Elysium would want to be considered this, but maybe they just figured it was the chase. But according to Untappd, they're a macro brewery. So I'm sorry, Elysian. I hope that doesn't offend you, but that's what it's listed as on Untappd.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, like I said, they're macro, so you can get this anywhere. Any grocery store around you should carry this in their liquor store section, or liquor store if your grocery stores don't sell alcohol. But it's a pumpkin yam beer, which pretty much all pumpkin beers are. It's a pumpkin ale, but they must have put some sort of coffee in it, because according to Untappd, it is a short shot of Stumptown coffee toddy in your pint. So I'm wondering if Stumptown may be something local to them, maybe make some like local craft coffees or something like that. But they're based in Seattle, Washington as well. So there are brothers on the West Coast. Pale brown biscuit, C77 crystal, chocolate, and kiln coffee malts provide the body. German northern brewer lends a touch of bitterness, so that must be the bitters, and then lactose sweetens the touch. So there's a little bit of lactose in it as well. So it'll probably taste like a pumpkin beer with coffee in it. I mean, pretty much.
I'm here for it.
But we're here for it. We all love, obviously, him and I are really big fans of pumpkin beers. So
Guilty as charged.
let's give this bad boy a chance.
Yeah, cheers.
Zero
Cheers to
IBUs and
being back.
6%.
Cheers to a good 2-year anniversary episode.
Cheers,
and
2 years.
here's to the HHN 31 coming up.
Oh, it smells like a lot of coffee.
Very
Ton of
coffee.
coffee on the nose.
I get that cinnamony, nutmeggy too.
That's pretty good. That's actually really good. Wow. The more it sits on the palate or tongue, whatever you want to call it, the pumpkin comes through at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's for you,
Yep.
but for me, it's heavy coffee, heavy sugar, heavy sweet on the front, and then as it dissipates, you get a ton of pumpkin. It's really good. That's actually
I like it, though.
really, really, really
It's
good.
good because it is a very light tasting beer. Even though when you look at it, I mean,
Yeah,
this thing doesn't look light by any stretch of the imagination.
definitely looks
It
dark.
looks like Coke, almost like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And you can see those fragments in there.
Oh yeah,
floating around.
It does say that it's unfiltered too, for those who are wondering. It definitely looks dark, but it's only 6%, so it shouldn't be too heavy, to be honest with you. And obviously, in the first couple sips, it doesn't seem to be that heavy. So I enjoy it.
I'm into it.
I'm down. Elysian, if you guys are listening, which you probably aren't,
Sponsor
but
us.
You guys make a pretty good
Sponsor us,
coffee
you cowards.
pumpkin ale. So cheers to that.
All right, so let's get into this announcement. A day before the announcement, John Murdy tweeted out, and I forget the exact words, but it was the same thing that he tweeted. It said like something evil come to this thing, or the same thing he tweeted out previously. So it got everyone thinking like, oh, announcement, and then HHN, Twitter, and Orlando and whatnot pretty much trolled us, because then they did put out something which was just a poster, not announcing anything, not announcing trailer tomorrow, not announcing. It was just another character poster. If I remember correctly, it's the woman from the trailer that we received the next day. So then the next day came, and they dropped the trailer for the second breakdown, which seems to be following that same trend that we previously talked about when they did announce that, saying we were talking about this might be a continuation kind of thing. We were introduced to quote unquote the snacker, and this time we were introduced to the skeptic, which I'm not sure, but it appears that it was the same woman from the FaceTime call that the guy received when he was exiting the movie theater. So an interesting little connection. I'm curious to see if that trend continues, because we got the snacker, we got the skeptic, and then the only other person that could continue this trend from this trailer, if we had the good boy and we had the little dog as the character for the next house announcement. Maybe the bug house. Maybe the bugs are attacking the dog. Who knows? Far reach. Not going to happen. Crickets. But we did get the announcement that Halloween is returning. And the little bio that we received was Gather your friends and visit Haddonfield, Illinois, where Michael Myers is about to don his mask and embark on his first brutal spree. Silent, merciless, relentless. He is the embodiment of pure evil. You don't want to go alone as you go back to where it all began. This year, step into the original 1978 horror classic, Halloween. So, Halloween is returning. It's been made pretty clear through their text, their verbiage, that this is, like they said, the 1978 original Halloween. So this is not, 2018. This is not Kills Ends. Unfortunately, it's not Season of the Witch. This is the original OG. So we're going back to the late 70s, the simple slasher. So thoughts on that? Excited? Not excited?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm excited personally because I've never seen Michael in a house. Obviously, I didn't get to see it at 20. Was it 24? Was the last time they did it?
So 24 was Halloween. This one, the 78 one. 26. It was like every 2 years for a little bit. 26 was Halloween 2, and then 28 was Halloween 4. So they leapfrogged over Season of the Witch. But yeah, it's been a hot minute since. I mean, really since any Halloween. Halloween, the original has been. I mean, 24. We're at 31, so it's coming on 8-9 years because that little leap for our postponed year. But it's been a while. I have seen Michael. I have not seen the original, so I'm excited. I mean, anytime you get one of those pillars, Jason, Michael, Freddy, I think that's exciting. Is it my most anticipated thing that I'm looking forward to? No, but I do think that this will be a house that I visit frequently because I think it's going to land in the upper echelon of houses this year. I think we're going to have those IPs that are going to draw.
And then I think one of those. And to be honest with you,
I think so.
I mean, obviously they haven't announced it yet, but Stranger Things, if it drops,
if that happens, I mean, I feel like the whole Stranger Things is very up and down, and we can't forget about The Weeknd either. If that comes to fruition,
I think he'll be a draw, but not in the same way that
those two
Stranger
will.
Things, Halloween, and even the Universal Monsters.
Universal Monsters,
I think that's going to draw a certain group of people. Obviously, The Weeknd will draw people. I think it'll draw people like us more for the intriguing side of it.
Yeah, see what's going on in there.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, what is it?
Versus all the Weeknd fans that may or may not be Halloween people like we are. Enough to fly down to Florida or come to Florida,
go to an event to see
his
haunted house. Yeah, that's a lot of.
And again, I don't know the power of that draw, so maybe there is something there. But I think as of right now, out of the two announced, Halloween is the biggest IP that will draw people, and then of course if Stranger Things gets dropped because of how good the season was. I don't know if you've seen it, but
oh yes, I have seen.
So we both seen the Stranger Things. We won't spoil anything, but if it drops a house anything near as good as that season is, I think that's another big draw too.
Yeah, I mean that'd be huge.
And we'll talk about that when it happens.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We don't want to speculate.
Hopefully, but yeah, I think this will be that 45 to an hour wait. Maybe higher on peak days, maybe lower on those tail ends. But I think if you have a heavy hitter original or two that gains traction the way that Puppet Theater and Wicked Growth did previously, I think those kind of superseded. So I think this will be one that is kind of accessible for us more often than not. So I'm excited to kind of visit Haddonfield as often as I can. No, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. We did talk a lot during the speculation season when Halloween came up that this is there's a possibility of this name just being a placeholder because it's been such a frequent IP that it seems they have such a good connection that it can be a back pocket kind of thing. If something drops, here you go, here's Halloween House, which isn't a bad thing by any means that it's been there frequently because there's so many different movies in the series that you can draw a completely different house every single time. I mean,
right.
I'm just waiting until we get the Season of the Witch or Halloween Resurrection so we can have the Busta Rhymes character. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, the Halloween houses drop. It's going to be coming. So I did a little bit digging and did a little walkthrough of the HHN 24 house. So if you don't And I don't know if you can consider the spoilers, but I'm going to kind of go through from what I saw the best that I could, that house from HHN 24. So this was in a sprung tent. This was over where Wicked Growth was. So sprung tent 2, I believe it is. So you enter, and the exterior facade was ridiculous. It was the actual house itself, the whole outside of the house. Yeah. And they had like a projection going onto the second story with the Halloween logo and I think different scenes from the movie and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you walk in the house towards the stairs, and then there's that Halloween ding, the not the dun 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 dun, but the other one. So that ding kind of happens a lot, and that's what is a scare trigger there. And that's where a young Michael was standing there with a clown mask with a knife, and there's a dead body on the stairs. You walk past the stairs, and you enter into a new room, which had that little mirror gag that we saw with The Haunting of Hill House, where you see a character, they look far away, and then like, boom, they're right next to you.
You said that as thunder just boomed. I'm
right?
I'm just gonna point that out.
I know, right?
You might be Jesus.
I got the power. But then Michael kind of cuts the corner, and he's right next to you. You exit the house with this like little leafy scene. There's stuff like fake little leaves just to kind of really push that idea that you're outside and you're looking in the window from the backyard now. There might have been a scare there, but from the video that I saw, nothing popped. It then kind of looks like you're going into a garage where there's, again, a silent Michael jump, knife sound, or like the stab sound, that pops up. And then there's a car, which is parked in the garage, and that Michael's inside strangling the driver from the back seat, and she's screaming and beeping the horn and stuff like that. We go back into the house through the kitchen where there's like popcorn and food out, and then there's another Michael scare, which the Michael scares are pretty much just him like holding the knife up and just not moving, which is like, that's just what he does, so it makes sense. You then kind of corral through some different hallways until you eventually get to Judith's bedroom. And we know that because there's the grave on her bed, and again, another Michael stab scare. But there was a really cool silhouette projection of Michael's face, and then it's there, and then as it disappears, Michael pops out, and that's kind of the trade-off in that room. And then when we exit that room, this is where you get a really cool scare, and that's where you see the sheet ghost, not the goat, the ghost with the glasses on, kind of like the ooh. But then Michael kind of pulls the sheets apart from the middle and lunges out towards you. So that's a really, really cool scare. We enter then it's like a room full of Michaels, kind of like Us or Graveyard Games with the kids, so you don't know which one is like the real character, which one's not. Some are statues, some aren't. So you kind of got to play that little game of who's who and stuff like that, which are always my least favorite and favorite scenes. Yeah. Because they get them to look so perfect. We go back outside now, and this is where we get some trick-or-treaters, and they just kind of come out through the sheets, trick-or-treat, and they're wearing the Season of the Witch masks.
Oh, are they? Nice.
Yeah, so they got the little witch skull and
it's not enough, match. HHN.
I know.
Not enough. I need the whole house.
We then go into like a little living room scene where there's a Michael and Laurie lookalike. There is a TV in the scene, and sometimes it did show Silver Shamrock commercials on that, on a sporadic loop. One of the most iconic scenes then becomes large scale, and we start walking through an exaggerated closet, clothes hanging in front of you and stuff like that, and you got to work your way out of the closet. There are a lot of clothes in there that belong to famous villains. There is a Freddy Krueger sweater hanging in there. So again, the HHN crew just having fun with like little Easter eggs and stuff like that. You exit the house, and this is where there's a final scene of Loomis shooting towards Michael. And that was the house. So I mean, they did cover a lot. So what can we really expand on? The rumor is that this is moving from a sprung tent to a warehouse or a parade house of that sorts. We had the same treatment that we had previously last year, where Texas Chainsaw had moved from a sprung tent, which had a great like exterior facade, and it moved to a stage house or like a warehouse, bigger set stage, sound stage. There's the word.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing is is it gonna get better? Is it gonna be hurt that they have this extra space to play with? Because I mean, really, Halloween 1 is just like, if we're sticking with the house, you're just like kind of walking through a house, you don't really need this space. You know, space isn't something that really exists unless we get new scenes or different scenes, maybe stuff that happens, you know, outside, or, you know, as we're watching Halloween in the background. It's kind of tough to see with the glare and stuff like that from our daytime recording. But it's just when Lori and her friends are walking to school, so maybe we get like an outside scene inside, kind of like how when we walked into Chainsaw last year, we were outside, we were at the gas station.
Yeah. So, I mean, they haven't, maybe you said something and I'm not paying attention, but they haven't confirmed where this is going to be yet, right?
No.
We just know that it's coming.
We know it's coming.
So we can probably speculate between the two of us that it's going to be in, I think you said a soundstage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we can guess. My guess is it probably will be where Texas was, or at least in that one of those areas right up front there.
Yeah.
After you come through where Ghostbusters was a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So I think that would make a lot of sense because it gives them more freedom to build more solid structures. Like, I want to see, like, give me, like, again, like I said, I didn't get to experience the house before, so I want to see the Myers facade, the house, like we saw with the Icon's house last year.
That big entrance,
that big grand open scene. Like, I want something like that with this. And you know what? Just give me the goodness. Give me the noises and the bing sounds and all the.
Yep. So this is actually
give me all of it.
The last speculation map 2, which, I mean, we should be coming around the corner and getting a third speculation map at some point. I think they've mentioned it in the past, Horror Night Nightmares, but they have it speculated that it's going to be at location I, which is where Haunting of Hill House was.
Okay.
So those like parade warehouses out back.
Yep.
Which are
Makes
there's
sense.
a lot of space to play with. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, as far as speculating like what's going to be in this versus what's not, I mean, they covered a lot of the first movie in that previous house. I don't believe it's going to be a carbon copy by any means. They're going to have fun with this. They're going to introduce it. I mean, some scenes will obviously be similar. We're obviously going to get a closet scene. We're probably going to get that little ghost scene. We're definitely going to get a Loomis in there. It's just a matter of like the order. Are they just going to have fun with it? And are they going to stick, as they said it's going to be 1978. So I'm assuming that's where we're just going to stay. We're going to stay right in that original. It makes sense. You know, we've talked about it 1,000 times. HHN 31, Halloween's on October 31st. Michael Myers and the original Halloween are like quintessential Halloween thing. So like it makes too much sense. It kind of goes hand in hand right there. We do have this house was tied for House of the Year too. For that year, it was tied with Dollhouse of the Damned. So it was a good house. It was well received.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I think this Halloween, you know, trend that people keep talking about is something that's just kind of fabricated in their own mind. Obviously, you know, it was bang, bang, bang. We had every 2 years or so a new Halloween house, but it was a a whole different movie, different scenes, different characters. It was enjoyable, and this is a classic. Like we said, if you get one of those 3 pillars, Jason, Michael, or Freddy, it's going to be a win.
Yep. For sure.
So, let's see. We were going to do 2 episodes, but since we really don't have much,
we don't have a whole
lot to talk about. I think the best bet would just be smashing them both together.
Just do one, yeah.
So let's just jump into the stuff that we were going to talk about.
We're obviously going to record again next week. So we'll this might as well just do it. You know what?
A 2 for 1.
A 2 for 1 instead of doing 2 separate episodes, and you know,
we took enough time
faking the people out.
So, this episode is going to be really promoting to now our Spooky Empire. Not our experience, but like bringing you in on the Spooky Empire.
Yeah.
So we are going to be at Spooky Empire,
and not just there. Like we're actually gonna have a booth.
We're gonna have a table. We're gonna be selling stuff. So
hawking some goods.
yeah, so if you don't know, obviously Spooky Empire is what they refer to as the dark side of Comic-Con. It's pretty much a horror convention.
Big convention in Central Florida here in Orlando. It's at the
Wyndham Orlando Resort,
there you go.
which is actually 8001 International Drive, Orlando, Florida 32819.
This is the same hotel that it was at last year, or last year, but the last time
It's been here previously. They do rotate. I think usually the October one's bigger, so they put it at the convention center.
Right.
These smaller ones go to the Wyndham, which there's still plenty of space. A lot of good stuff.
It's cool. Not only do they have a bunch of horror vendors and that sort of thing, there's a bunch of people to meet and see, get autographs and that sort of thing. And then there's also a bunch of tattoo artists.
Yep.
So if you're in the market for a new tattoo, you can come talk to some artists, local artists. Some come in from out of state, from different places.
Yep.
Grab some cards like I did and finally pick an artist and get ready to get one done. But so they have a ton of stuff to see at these events. Obviously, the biggest draw are the guests. Yeah. And not just us. Obviously,
we're happy to see you, but I know you're not coming for us.
I know you're not coming to see us. You don't want my autograph.
But yeah, so this is going to be running June 17th to the 19th. So when you hear this, because I'm going to probably put this up tonight on Saturday, you have the entire week to clear your schedule for a day, a couple hours, grab a ticket, and come by because it's definitely worth your while. The times that it's going to be open on Friday, it's starting at 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. On Saturday, it's 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then Sunday, it's 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So anytime during those, if you go to their website, you can purchase tickets ahead of time. You can purchase, I think they're doing autograph stuff and photo passes ahead of time. But Shamus, do you want to jump into
the guest list?
Some guest list stuff while I'll look up some more info on this.
So I'll let you kind of like chime in as you hear different people. But so I broke down the guest list as it stands today on June 11th. 2022. This is a Saturday. I know you guys are probably listening to this later in the week, so this may have changed since listening to this. I don't think it'll change too much. We've only had one cancellation so far. I didn't really get the name of the person that canceled, but this is the list of people that will be here this coming weekend. And if I give you days, obviously those are the days that person will be there. If I don't give you days, just assume that they'll be there all 3 days. And there's some big names here. The first one is obviously Clint Howard. So for anybody that watches basically movies or likes Hollywood in any way, you know the Howard name. It's Ron Howard's brother. Yep. But Clint Howard's has been in a bunch of things. Some of his biggest movies, like Apollo 13. Okay. He was in that years and years ago. So he's been working in Hollywood for many, many years. He has been in a lot of, I think, low-budget horror movies too. So pretty much anybody listening to this, when I say Clint Howard, you know who I'm talking about. Julie Benz will be there Saturday and Sunday only. I didn't really know much about her. I know a lot of the shows she's been in, but I really don't remember her. She was in Boondock Saints too, and I haven't seen that movie in ages, so I don't know who she was in that. But she was also in Dexter, Angel, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. So she's done a few of those TV shows. Other than that, I'm not a huge expert on on anything else she's done. But anyone that's fans of those TV shows, you might know who she is. Dennis O'Hare, from American Horror Story, is going to be in that. He was in, I believe, Freak Show and Hotel. Yep, he was the cross-dresser for sure. Those ones. Hotel. He was the crooked, like the tall guy, the guy trying to buy shit from. I think he was the one trying to buy things. He was the one that Emma what's her face was working with. In a Freak Show, I forget I forget his character's name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's gonna be there. Dee Wallace, huge name in horror. Okay, she's gonna be there. The next big one, I think E.T. E.T. Right, the girl from E.T. She's Cujo. She was the mom in E.T. She was Cujo. Lords of Salem, Critters. Yeah, a bunch of different movies.
Three from Hell. That was the recent one.
The more recent one. Yep. This is the biggest name I think on the list. Well, I think depending on who you are, this is the biggest name in the list. Heather Langenkamp. Yes. Of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yep. Nancy. I mean, one of the biggest final girls. Ever.
Came back a couple times. So, she was in 3 as well. I think
she was in 3. She was in New Nightmare. She played herself in New Nightmare.
That was a fun. I always forget about New Nightmare.
It's where Nancy from Stranger Things gets her name. She's obviously inspired by Nancy from Friday. So she's gonna be there. I will recommend even though it seems like she's going to be there all 3 days because it wasn't designated otherwise, she's probably going to be like Robert Englund was back in was it the fall that we went to the one?
Yeah, she'll be probably the big draw.
She'll probably be the biggest line. So if you want to see Heather, be prepared to wait in line, obviously.
Yeah.
Or get there early enough that you can get in line
and still do stuff after, yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, if you get there after doors open, yeah, the line will already be an hour or 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And you'll probably spend that part of the day, or most of the day, waiting to see her. Don't get me wrong. I plan on waiting in line too for her.
We'll be there all day, so we got time. We got nothing but time to kill.
We got time. I just don't know if I have enough money to pay for all the signatures. All the autographs I'm gonna want.
You guys do a vendor discount here?
This next name wasn't quite sure of what he did. I think he's more of a voice actor. Because he's been in a lot of cartoons. John Kassir.
Okay.
Kassir. He was in Tales from the Crypt. He was in Casper. So I think he played Casper the Ghost as a kid or younger person.
Okay.
Reefer Madness. Some various animated stuff like Animaniacs and Grim. What is that one called? The Grim Reaper cartoon. I forget. The Grim Life of Bill and Billy.
Grim Adventures of Bill and
Grim
Mandy.
Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I couldn't think what the name was. So he's in that as well. So he'll be there. Butch Patrick, who played Eddie Munster.
Yeah.
From the Munsters. So if you're an old-timey horror fan or you've been around in the culture for a long time, you can meet Eddie. He'll be there. Roger L. Jackson.
Ooh, the voice. The voice is going to be there.
The phone voice, obviously, of the Scream Ghostface killer.
So never on screen, but
Nope.
you've heard his voice.
But you've heard his voice.
I wonder if he can give me like I don't want to maybe like an autograph, whatever, but like I want like an audio message from him.
Right. That you could record on your phone. That's what we have.
Right.
That's what we have phones for.
Yeah.
He's also in like things like Powerpuff Girls and some other cartoons, various cartoons.
He plays Mojo Jojo.
That's right, Mojo Jojo. So if you're a fan of that as well, he'll be there. I have never seen this movie, so don't.
I think you're gonna make a lot of people mad with this one.
But Duncan Regier, Michael Reed McKay, and Carl Thibault from Monster Squad will be there.
Yeah.
I've never seen Monster Squad.
That's a good trio right there.
Please do not attack me this weekend if you come. I will plan on watching it. The other big name, and I think for certain people like myself, Nick, and a few other fans of our podcast and friends, this might be the bigger name for some of us. No shade at Heather. We love you, Heather. But Kane Hodder is going to be there.
Yep.
And
big time.
I mean, you're talking the king of all kings when it comes to slasher. If you haven't seen his special on Shudder, you need to go watch it. If you consider yourself any type of Friday fan or just horror fan and slasher fan in general, you have to go see this special that they did on Shudder. It's so good. But Kane Hodder is the man, and I plan on spending hundreds of dollars.
Too much money.
All of my Jason movies.
I want to get a machete signed.
At least all the ones that he was in, obviously.
Yeah.
Derek Mears, who is in DC Swamp Thing on HBO. I've never seen it, never watched it. I don't know.
No, I haven't seen that.
He's in that. He's also in Predators.
Yep. The Friday remake.
Yep. Michael Bailey Smith, who is in Hills Have Eyes, the remake, as well as Nightmare 5, The Dream Child.
Ooh, and the Fantastic Four.
And Fantastic Four, yeah, he was in that. One of those terrible
The
movies.
Forgettables.
Yeah, not the good one that's coming out in like a couple of years. But now this is where we start to get into some really, not big names, but a grouping of actors from big movies in our world. Yeah. And I couldn't believe the list at this point forward.
These are all, I forgot about a lot of these ones.
So like Amy Steele from Friday 2, she's going to be in it. She's also in April Fool's Day, which is a great B-movie, horror movie on Shudder if you have the time to go see it.
Maybe next April's killer reviews.
Right. Adrienne King, Friday 1, Friday 2. Obviously the final girl on Friday 1. Huge name. John Fury, Friday 2, camp counselor, guy who is Amy Steele's love interest or whatever you want to call him. And sadly, we don't get Wheelchair Boy, who gets a knife straight to the face.
Yeah.
One of Nick's favorite kills ever.
The best.
Edwin Neal from Texas 1. I'm not entirely sure who he played.
So he's the crazy guy that gets picked up in the van that's like cutting himself. He's the brother,
that's
I think.
Why he looks... Oh, that's
so
cool.
He's the one that jumps in the van and is messing with them. And so a small, obscure part, but probably one of the... name-wise, you might not remember his name, but if you think of characters from that movie, probably the most iconic character next to Leatherface. Yeah, that's because he stands out.
That's a good point. I had no idea that was him. I apologize for mispronouncing this person's name, but it's Tio Briones or Briones.
Yeah.
He's in Chucky, the new movie. or the show. I think it's the show.
The show. I think it's a sci-fi.
Yeah, and he's also in Ratchet. Ratchet.
Oh, it was like that American Horror Story-esque style of show or something.
It's basically it's based on Nurse Ratchet as a younger nurse.
Oh yes,
from
yes.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's on Netflix, I think.
Yep.
Warrington Gillette from Friday 2.
Okay.
Played Jason in Friday 2.
The Jason. Yep.
The potato sack Jason, not the obviously iconic Kane Hodder-esque masked Jason, but either way. And then of course we get a couple mainstays
regulars,
who are
the regulars
here. Danielle Harris and Alex Vincent. Obviously Danielle Harris, we all know who she is. She's a queen of horror. And then Alex Vincent, who played the little boy in the original
Child's Play.
And then we get into some wrestlers. Obviously, if you're wrestling fans, AEW, Blade and Bunny will be there Friday and Saturday. And then for the WWE, which will be, all of these people will be at the Give Kids the World booth. I don't know where that's going to be in relation to the event, but when you get there, grab a map, you'll find it. But these are all the WWE talent that'll be there. Shotzi will be there Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 4 only. So if you're going to see her, you need to make sure you get there between 1 and 4. That's when she'll be there. And then Raquel Rodriguez will be there only on Sunday. Grayson Waller will also only be there on Sunday. And then Scotty Too Hottie,
love him.
Garland, will be there Saturday and Sunday.
The
Obviously,
man.
our era of
Super
wrestling.
nice.
So all of them will be at the Give Kids the World booth. And finally, we've got Jeff Gaither, who is a local art. I think he's local.
Yep.
Artist. Does a lot of cool horror-esque, scary, weird stuff. And then, of course, finally, Grim Life Collective. They are also, I believe, local, or they were. They may have moved.
I think they were, and then
they moved out west.
They moved
maybe.
out west,
but they're
yeah.
a YouTube personality, YouTube channel. Travel vloggers, kind of like if you're familiar with like the Tim and Jen, the trackers here in Orlando, kind of the same thing. They travel to different horror locations, iconic locations, and talk
movie
about it,
settings,
talk to
real
people.
life murder stuff.
They got to go to oh my god.
I mean, they've been to a lot
They've
of
been
places.
to a lot of
They've been to a
places,
lot.
but I'm just thinking of one specifically. But they went to. Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, I know. Either way, whatever. Go check out their YouTube channel.
They got a lot of
I'm
good
a
stuff.
huge fan of theirs. Have been for a very long time. They go to all the different places that we as horror fans would love to go to. They get to talk to some really big names in the horror industry about the movie they worked on and that sort of thing, or the movies they've worked on, or other things that they've worked on. But they'll be there. They'll have a booth. I don't believe they'll be in the meet and greet area. They'll be in where we are, I think. I could be wrong, but I thought I read somewhere that they will be in the main exhibit hall.
We got one of the little poor people tables in the corner.
We're not. We had to pay our way into this. This wasn't like we weren't invited. Like nobody knows who we are.
No. This is for us to. I mean, if you're listening to this and you happen to be going, I'll be excited to say hi to you. But this was to really get our name out there and hopefully
push some more fans.
And hopefully we can grab. I mean, because we're a Horror Nights Orlando-based podcast. So going to a horror convention in Orlando, we might be able to hopefully, grab some people that haven't heard us that are in the area that all of our interests line up. So if you do come by our booth, we are going to have a whole bunch of stuff. My mother, super creative, and then one of our other friends, Alicia, super creative. They're going to be selling some stuff at our booth, so you can purchase them. Alicia is going to be having a lot of different theme tumblers.
She's the one that made. I don't know if you guys remember the episode or not.
Oh, yeah, our bottle.
She made us our bottle openers with our logo on it. She's gonna be making, like you said, tumblers.
So we have a lot of tumblers and cups and stuff like that. I think some headband stuff, all kinds of cool little crafty things. Then from the other side of things, my mother, she's doing some paintings. We have a bunch of earrings, a bunch of pins and stuff like that. Just small little things. We are working right now. We are going to have T-shirts available, limited quantity because again, we don't want to sit on a bunch of T-shirts, but we want to have something to be able to sell.
We don't have a working supply line. We have to buy everything ourselves.
So we're buying as we go, but we are going to be selling. Thankfully, Stranger Things was a huge hit because we were going to be selling our Fear and Beer Stranger Things style logo shirt.
And don't worry, we'll have the link to our merch page.
Yeah,
so if
we
you
have
guys
our links
wanted
there.
something we had and we don't have a physical version in that space with us at the time, you can at least go to the website and buy something from there.
Yep. So we're going to have that for sale. We have a bunch of Fear and Beer stickers of all our different designs. We have some different pins left over. And we also I have a bunch of HHN merch from last year that I'm going to be giving away. So different posters, some pins, some stuff like that, some signs. And we're going to be doing raffles just about every hour from our table. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to take the time to mail out all these different things, and that's why we're going to be doing it every hour, and we're going to refresh. Like on Friday, I'm emptying the bucket. On Saturday, I'm starting a new bucket. Same thing on Sunday. So you have to be present to pick it up, and I'm hoping that by doing it every hour or so, or every couple hours, somebody that is still there can come and pick it up.
Yeah, we'll
from
figure
the
out
table.
something where you can either leave us your cell phone number or your email, and we can send you a message if you win.
Yeah, so the way we're going to do it is we're going to have our QR code set up, and you're going to have to follow us on either Twitter or Instagram. You're going to write your Twitter or Instagram username on a ticket and put it into the bucket every hour. So I'm going to draw that, and then I will contact you through that name that you gave us and let you know that you won a certain prize, and you can come back to the table and pick it up. Now, if you're already following us, mention this episode. Mention that you heard this here, because I will enter you into the raffle still. The raffle is to get new followers and new people.
So they get double entry?
If somebody follows us on Twitter and Instagram, I will put 2 entries in, one for Twitter, one for Instagram.
Okay.
But if you are a listener already and you're already following us, you heard it here.
You'll get 2 entries?
If you're following us on both.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're already following us.
If you're following us already, you can pull up our page.
And if you don't follow us in both, you'll get 2 entries.
But if you are already following us, come up to me, show us that you're following us, mention that you heard this on the episode, and I will write down your handle, and I will give you an entry into the prize pot as well. So not discouraging the people that are already listening, but definitely encouraging some people that are not. So like I said, I'm really excited. We're going to have a cool booth. Maybe we're going to try and set something up where we record an episode at Spooky, or we can get some people's maybe thoughts on HHN this year, and we'll do a little compilation episode. But we're gonna do something fun. But I think that's really all the info on Spooky Empire that we got.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, Nick and I have gone to it few times now.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times. We both have.
We really enjoy it. It's a fun get together of everything scary and horror and weird. It's definitely our community. It's our people. So if you haven't ever been to it and you're local, you definitely need to check it out. Tickets aren't outrageous. I think they're
no, it's like 30 or 40 bucks or something for a whole day pass.
Kids under 12 are free. So if you've got little ones like I do,
bring
them along. I'm sure my kids will be there at some point throughout the weekend. Right. Maybe the whole weekend. Who knows? Yeah. Depends how much my wife is happy with me or not. But
it's like me growing up. I had to always be at the festivals with my mom.
Right. But we'll have, it'll be us. We'll have some friends kind of mosey in and about. I think we have 4 vendor tags, something like that, right? Or 6.
Yeah. So it'll be either me, you, my mother will be there. There'll be people there. My friend Pete will be there.
Yep.
We're gonna be there saying hi to everybody the whole day. So it would mean a lot. It'd be really cool to see how many people actually come out and have heard us. And seen us. So I'm excited to see what the turnout is.
And hell, if you're from out of state or out of the country and you happen to be visiting Disney World for the week,
come on
you're
through.
Gonna be here this weekend,
right in Orlando.
Come on through. We'll be here.
Well,
other than that, I don't know.
I think that wraps up for me.
Excited for Halloween?
I'm excited for Halloween. I'm excited for Spooky Empire. I'm excited to be back.
Spend way too much money on autographs.
Oh, here comes the poor man season now. I'm like already starting to.
So it's always poor man season. What are we talking about?
Yeah, right.
Because the worst part is it's cash only at a lot of these things. So you have to get it
that's a good thing. That's a good thing to mention beforehand. A lot of these vendors, a lot of the autographs are cash,
non-funny thing.
Cash only or cash preferable.
Not everybody. A lot of people do use.
Some people have little tap systems,
squares and stuff. So you can use your card in some booths. Yeah. But there are booths I will tell you this. Nick and I both agree that we're willing to spend hundreds of dollars at these different booths, because a lot of it is people putting in the hard work and the time to make the stuff that you're going to see.
Yeah.
There are obviously certain vendors that come in and they sell toys and all that stuff that they buy at Target or buy it online and they sell it for whatever.
Just fine. I get it for the collectibles, but
totally fine.
The true artisans
but the artisans, the artists that make stuff, that make
deserve
cool,
your money.
Unique things. There's one gentleman there, I forget his name.
I mean, there's countless things in this room, whether you can see them or
it's
not.
hard to see in the video, but yeah, I mean, obviously we're collectors of tchotchkes. We like, we like little things.
Any little things that I can hang up or put on shelves.
Like, there was one gentleman there that like he goes out of his way to get like minifigures, like Lego minifigures of all these different characters, and then he puts together a shadow box. So it's really, really cool. It's an awesome time.
And they're not crazy priced either too. Like, where else can you find a good wall decoration for $20, $30?
Fair.
But no,
But
again,
definitely
excited.
Definitely the guests. If you plan on getting an autograph of any kind, bring cash because
the autographs are usually
most
cash.
of them are cash only.
A lot of the artisans, like you mentioned, the autographs are usually cash with like the celebrities or whatever. The artisans usually will sometimes have like a Squarespace or a Venmo.
And, I mean, there is an ATM on site usually, but unless you want to pay a $17 fee, you probably want to just bring cash.
Yeah, it's better just to err on the side of caution and bring cash with you.
But you don't need us to tell you that. You all know how this works,
right?
You know how the world works.
I think that about wraps it up for our Halloween announcement and our Spooky Empire announcement. We are going to be coming back
next week.
I mean, we're going to drop this on a Saturday. So
next Saturday or today?
Today.
Oh, you're listening to it today.
Listening to it today.
But
so we'll be back with you. We got some cool stuff lined up for June. I've been working on getting some interviews. It's just been with the vacation and the Spooky Empire. The scheduling's been a little crazy.
A relatively big interview.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But we're still scraping at those ones. But yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to promise anything false.
No,
but
I agreed.
We're going to aim for June, July to have some of those interviews. We expect June and July to be heavy towards the announcements. And then, we are almost there. We're almost at HHN season because then we just got August to go through. The announcements
are going to start coming hot and heavy in the next couple of weeks, my guess is.
So keep your eyes peeled on those socials. And again, thank you very much for that 2-year anniversary episode reception. Everyone seemed to love it.
Yeah, I hope you guys stick around because we got a lot more stuff coming.
I hope we see you guys at Spooky Empire next week. But until then, this is Nick.
And this is Shamus.
Happy haunts.
This is cursed. Cursed. It's got a death curse.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
And again, I would just like to thank Vampire Stepdad for letting us use his music for our intro and outro music. So if you would, just go check him out. Spotify, Facebook. Again, that is Vampire Stepdad.